Bradford City have just added another point to their tally with a 0-0 draw away to Newport County, and we have a lot of things to discuss in today's video. Two massive refereeing decisions got completely wrong by the man in the centre today, and a lot of other absolutely dreadful pieces of officiating, and we're going to talk about it all today. I did a live stream, but I couldn't blow off enough steam in that, so I'm having to do a match reaction for it. If you do go on to enjoy, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, because I genuinely cannot believe what I have seen from that referee today. The beginning is always a very good place to start, and when these obviously team news, it did come out earlier today. I don't think it was a surprise to see 4 changes. No Callum Kavanagh or Tyreek Wright in at the matchday squad. They've obviously played a lot of football recently, and they're going to be needed on Tuesday for a game against Birmingham. Alex Patterson was benched for this one. Paul Huntington came back into the side for his first start in the League of the Year, I do believe, and obviously a debut for Teo Adaramola as well. I didn't hate the team, in all honesty. I understood the changes and I kind of liked it, to be honest. I think I would have maybe brought Patterson on early on in the game, but we'll bring that, we'll come to that later on in today's video. On the whole though, I did quite like the team. I like how we started. Yes, Newport had a few decent chances early doors. Courtney Baker-Richardson missed a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity from about 6 yards out. He put that straight at Sam Walker. But the first major refereeing decision we have to come to is the red card for Jack Shepherd. At first, I'm not going to lie to you, I did think it was a red card. I understood why the referee gave it. But looking back on it now, that decision is absolutely criminal. Alex Patterson was given a red card away at Alexandra, and I thought that was going to be the worst refereeing decision I've ever seen. At the time it was. We've now seen an even worse one with the red card here for Jack Shepherd. This referee so far in his EFL games has been absolutely shocking. You saw how furious Crewe Alexandra fans were for the red card that they were given on Tuesday night against AFC Wimbledon, a foul which you see committed 10 times a game by both sides. It wasn't only a penalty. The referee also gave a red card for somebody who was not even going to get onto the ball if they were not impeded whatsoever. He made a horrible decision on Tuesday. He made another one in this game, and it has completely cost Bradford City. For those who haven't seen it, obviously I would go and urge you to watch it back on the highlights, but basically Michael Mellon takes a shot on from halfway inside the Newport half. It's blocked, then it falls to one of their midfielders. He plays a through ball to, I believe, Courtney Baker-Richardson. The ball is just in front of where the centre circle ends, if that does make sense, and Jack Shepherd and Courtney Baker-Richardson then have a bit of a coming together. Paul Huntington is clearly the last man, and may I just add that last man isn't necessarily a red card. It's about denying a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity. Now what that referee saw can only be deemed as a foul. I think a yellow card would have been a completely fair result. It's a foul, it's in quite a promising attack, but there's absolutely no way that when you're just in front of the edge of the semicircle, there's a defender covering, how that can be deemed a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity. The referee was completely out of his depth today, and this red card decision completely summed it up. Shepherd has been one of the best centre halves in the division over the last couple of weeks, probably over the last few months as well, and to lose him was a massive blow for Bradford City. We tried to just stick without the extra centre half, but a sub did need to be made. 7 minutes later, I think it was, Bobby Poynton was substituted off, and you could see he obviously wasn't happy with the decision, but he probably did understand it was for the better of the team. So Poynton came off, Romany Critchlow came on, and we went to a 3-5-1 formation kind of thing, where it was a normal Smallwood sitting, 2 attacking midfielders and just 1 striker up front rather than 2. And I thought Michael Mellon led the line really well for Bradford City today, considering there's been rumours of bad attitude and all that sort of stuff. I thought he did really well, especially in the first half, winning corners, winning throw-ins while we settled down into things. I thought Michael Mellon showed some real promise, and I'd like to see him start Bradford City's next league game, unless Kavanagh scores a hat-trick against Birmingham's £50 million defence on Tuesday. But on the whole, really impressed with Michael Mellon. Teo Adaramola got about 82 minutes or so under his belt as well, and I thought on the whole did okay. Nothing really too stand out, had some good moments, but did okay. I've also just completely forgot to mention, yes, the referee made 2 horrible decisions, but the disallowed goal was actually before the red card, wasn't it? Before we do get into that though, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 150 likes on today's video? That'd be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below on today's result, point, and the refereeing performance as well. Now, like I did just briefly mention there, Bradford City scored a very legitimate goal. A ball gets played into Michael Mellon, onside. He flicks the ball around the corner. Anthony Sarcevic about 2 yards onside, then finishes brilliantly into the bag of the net, past the goalkeeper at his near post. It's an unbelievable goal, and for some reason, it's disallowed. never in a million years is Anthony Sarcevic offside, so the offside decision is then on, is Michael Mellon offside? To me, obviously, we don't have the benefit of the VAR and getting all the lines out. He looks offside. The only part of Michael Mellon which looks potentially offside is his hand. Obviously, you can't score with your hand, so therefore, it's not offside. Two absolutely awful refereeing decisions, but that just didn't even sum up the frustrations that we felt towards the match officials today, because especially in that second half, there was, I would say, 3 instances where a Bradford City player was fouled by a Newport player and they were given the advantage. They were given the free kick. I genuinely couldn't believe what I was seeing at times. Brad Halliday at one point made a brilliant challenge and then was pulled over by a Newport player and the referee gave the advantage to Newport County. I thought he was going to give Bradford City a free kick and maybe even a yellow card for a Newport player because it's stopping quite a promising attack, and somehow he gave them the advantage. He was absolutely awful. I know we've had some shocking referees so far this season, but I mentioned it on the watch-along that we did. Give me the Walsall away referee, give me the Grimsby away, the Harrogate away referee, give me all these different referees over the ones we had today. The worst refereeing performance I have seen in a number of years. Absolutely awful. And I'm not salty because we've lost. We've picked up a pretty decent point, all things considered. Newport coming into this game, one of the form teams in the division. They picked up 13 points out of the last possible 15 available at home. I think they're the 9th or 8th best home team in the division so far this season. They'd won 4 straight games on the bounce. So a point, considering everything that went against us in this game, isn't actually a bad result. We should have won the game with the disallowed goal, which was wrongfully disallowed. It does see us move back up to 3rd in the table as well now, but what it does mean is we have played a game more than Wimbledon, Notts County and Port Vale. If they all win, obviously we then would drop back down to 5th, which isn't really ideal. There's still plenty of time left in the season, still another 15 league matches for us to play, plus 2 potential EFL trophy clashes as well. So let's hope that Notts, Port Vale and Wimbledon all don't win their games in hand, but I feel like that is pretty unlikely for us to ask. So we're going to have to go and beat a Notts County at home. We're going to have to beat a Port Vale away. We have already played Wimbledon twice, so we can't really catch them now. On the whole though, not a bad point. Still plenty of time left in the season. One critique I do have of Graham Alexander today is we've got an embarrassment of riches on the bench. Just make some changes, make some more substitutions. I didn't really understand bringing Michael Mellon off. I thought he was having a very good game, but maybe it was because he's not played much football and he was starting to tire. I thought he was doing pretty well. I don't think Walker really had that impact as a striker. We should have brought a striker in January. It was our number 1 priority. It should have been our priority as soon as Andy Cook got injured, so I didn't really like that from Graham Alexander. I'm not too sure how Tommy Lee managed to play the full game. I thought he was average at best, and when you've got Lapsley, Kayla, Patterson all sat on the bench, how are none of them coming on? Even Anthony Sarcevic, he did okay in the game, but you've got options on the bench, just bring them on. Defensively though, there was certainly a lot of positive signs for Bradford City. It's yet another clean sheet. I think we've conceded 1 goal now in our last 7 or 8 matches. Absolutely brilliant, so a big credit to the defence. Brad Halliday was probably my man of the match, closely followed by Michael Mellon, but I thought Halliday had a really, really solid game, locked up their defence, and I thought Baldwin helped out quite a lot with that, especially in the first half, but there was also the odd instance in the second half. I do think it was one of Baldwin's best performances in a Bradford City shirt. That pass that he played through to Michael Mellon on around the 52nd, 53rd minute was absolutely excellent. Perfect weight, perfect execution, and Mellon did force a good save from the Newport goalkeeper. Huntington back in the team, back winning every single header inside the 6-yard box. That was another dodgy refereeing decision that we saw. They put a cross into the box. Baker Richardson's kind of barged into Huntington with his elbow, moved him out of the way when he was clearly going to head the ball away. Thankfully the cross just went straight through and out for a goal kick, but the referee stood 5-10 yards away, which was a surprise because most of the time he was 40 yards away from play. Critchlow obviously came in at a pretty shaky moment in the game. 25 minutes gone on the clock, you're down to 10 men, you're potentially competing for a spot on Tuesday night, and I thought he did pretty solidly, and I'm pretty sure I've spoken about all the other players as well. Now Small just was an average performance from him, really nothing really much to talk about. In terms of Newport, I thought Ajiboye started out really well in the first 15 minutes, but then after that faded post red card because they had to completely change the way they were playing. They were clearly playing on the counter-attack to start with, then as soon as the red card they were having to dominate possession and they didn't really look comfortable in doing so. Antwi, I think, is always a decent player in the middle. Baker Richardson was absolutely awful, and I'm not going to call it a dive because I do think he was fouled for Shepherd's red card, but the fact the referees deemed it as a red card is criminal. Absolutely criminal. You look at the stats, we've actually had more shots, way more on target. Yes, obviously you would expect us to have a lot less possession, but I think our out of shape overload, if that makes sense, where you obviously used to playing with 10 men. I'm sure they've practiced it quite well in training. It seemed very solid, and they seemed to know exactly what they were doing, considering there was a few new players in there, the likes of Mellon, the likes of Lee, Adaramola. They seemed to know all what they were doing very well, which is a credit to them, because they have only just come into the side in the last couple of weeks, and there's not really been much time to be had on the training pitch. My overall thoughts then on today's point, all things considered, I'm not going to complain all too much at the players, because I think they tried. They obviously scored a legitimate goal, which was wrongfully disallowed. The red card, I think, is a terrible decision as well. If we've got a competent referee, we probably pick up 3 points in that game, because I don't think Newport offered really much. We saw Newport's underlying numbers in the match preview. While yes, they've been winning a lot of games recently, their underlying numbers were pretty poor, and again in this one, they were the home team, dominated possession, but have had way less shots and way less shots on target as well. They did have a lot of corners, but never really threatened too much from them. They had one in the first half where they hit the post. That was probably their best chance of the game, but overall, we'll take the point. We'll move on to Tuesday against Birmingham, I think, and then on Saturday, we have MK at home. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I think they've drawn 1-1 with Tranmere today, have MK'd on, so that should hopefully be another 3 points for us, and it'll be interesting to see what lineup we go with on Tuesday, because I assume we're going to go full strength now. Have a great rest of your day, though, and I will see you probably early hours Wednesday morning for the matchday vlog.